You wrapped it up by telling us that.
All right, fellas, let's get into the news. Very interesting week. A lot of headlines, but I decided to just keep it with two. The first one is from Yahoo News. What's behind the unexpected gender gap on college campuses? At the end of the 2020-2021 academic year, nearly 60% of all college students were women, according to the data from the National Student Clearinghouse. Women have outpaced men in college enrollment for decades, but last year's gap represented an all-time high. If the trend continues, twice as many women as men will earn college degrees within the next few years. The NSC executive director told Wall Street Journal, as much as the disparity is a sign of successful women, many experts worry about the wider effects of worsening education deficit among men. The college gap shows no sign of reversing, as states like Iowa, Minnesota are noting the dips. Women submitted nearly 1 million more college applications for the 2021-2022 school year than men did, according to data obtained by the journal. Now, here's some perspective that they listed. Women have fewer career options if they don't get a college degree, in which why women are seemingly applying to colleges more. Well-established systems that have helped women succeed don't exist for men. Many young men feel that there's no place for them on college campuses. Pressures to make money in the short term can steer men away from college. Many boys are thrown off from college in early education. Young men of color may feel like they have no place in society. Schools don't have room to make male enrollment a priority. Boys are especially hurt by the decline of marriage in the U.S. And the last perspective that they listed was the college gender gap is a societal problem that requires society-wide solutions. So, fellas, what do we think about the lack of male presence on college campuses?
I think it's saying that a lot more males are going into trades. Females aren't really going into trades. Like if you took a similar poll to see how many females were going into trade school, I'm pretty sure those numbers would look similar. As far as it's a lack of women joining the trades. So that's my take on that shit. Yeah, niggas ain't going to college, but it ain't like the study's also saying that as a result, you got more males who are unemployed. So niggas are doing something. And according to I was saying, it was y'all hoes wasting your time anyway. Because niggas don't give a fuck about a bitch with a college degree.
Who's next up with that?
I'm not sure if you've done or not. I was you was like talking in fragments. I don't know if you've done or not, so I'm just waiting.
No, it's because I like to think. I like to think before I say my next line. I'm done though.
All right, so one of the things was the pandemic allowed a lot of females to enroll back into school. That's fact. I was just following this. The other part is that a lot of males can get jobs at 18. They can go into construction, they can go into firefighting, they can go into police. These aren't things that women tend to do, but males tend to do. So males can work right out of high school, and at 18 making $200 a day or $300 a day, that looks like a lot of money to an 18-year-old male coming out of high school and not having to go to college. Part of this, because they actually had a big news segment on this, and they were saying that a lot of men are like, when they graduate high school, like one male actually asked his son, you know, do you want me to buy you a backhoe, or do you want me to pay for you 4 years or you to go to this college? You know, do you want to start this business, or do you want to go to college and waste your time? So it depends on what the fathers are telling these young men. But I think a big portion of that is that males have the potential to make income right out of high school, and females don't necessarily have that same potential to be able to make that amount of money coming right out of high school. So to allude to, you know, what you were saying from the article, a lot of the females have to get that 4-year degree in order to be more successful. A male doesn't necessarily need that 4-year degree to be successful. So that's why there's, you know, a decline like that.
Mm-hmm.
This has a lot of layers to it.
Sure enough, does.
This has a lot of layers to it, a lot of history to it, a lot of policy, and a lot of BS to it, this, that, and the other. Honestly, me as a father, having a son, I'm not pushing for my kid to go to college. I honestly think at this stage of the game, college is the return on investment is not worth it. By the time my kid goes to school, the tuition will probably double from what it is. You got kids graduating $100,000 in debt. How the fuck you got a mortgage but don't have a house? So it's just like, logically speaking, it just doesn't make physical sense. And if any males are thinking the way I'm thinking, it's like, if the return on the return on investment isn't in your favor, why would you make such an investment? It makes much better sense, like you said, to go into the trades because the return on investment is better, to apply for civil service, and go in other directions. Now, women are told, that college and education in college will empower them and give them independence and all that, this, that, and the other. And some of it may be true. Some of it may be true for some women. It's not going to pan out for everybody. I mean, because at the end of the day, the amount of degrees versus the amount of opportunities are not equal. They're not equal. Everybody's when I was going to college, a bachelor's was something to be proud of. Now it's like you're just starting. You need at least a master's, which is almost equivalent to a high school diploma nowadays. So damn common. So if the market has more people that have degrees but has less job or less opportunities, it's just not a win-win. It's really not a win-win. When I look at it, I'm concerned about how it's going to affect us overall in society, not just in education, not just in employment, but like, let's be honest, a good chunk or percentage of women, I'm not going to say all, I'm not going to say majority, I'm just going to say a good percentage of women are hypergamous. And the whole thing is that if you are quote unquote college educated with your master's, your doctorate, whatever the case may be, and you starting off with a job making 80, 90,000, 100,000, whatever the case may be, somehow a lot of these women are still expecting to find men that make more money than them, even if they're outnumbering men in these high paid jobs. So I'm interested to see how this is going to pan out, in the next decade or the next 2 decades.
Nah, you're absolutely right. I think that term is called like assertive mating or something like that in regards to people who look for their equivalent peers. And if you ain't got a lot of brothers in college, and I hate that because it's just like, just because a brother, this article is not necessarily, when I say brother, obviously it's presumed talking about black men, but males in general. Just because a male is not college educated doesn't equate to his level of success, or it doesn't determine what his levels of success will be. The one thing I want to point out, though,
you just said it, and that if me being a landscaping company, and I have a landscaping company, this chick that went to college and even might have just gotten a master's still doesn't look at that landscaping company.
Yeah.
So it's a whole nother, like Black Zeus said, there's so many layers because it's a whole nother part of that. So I didn't go to school, but I got a successful vending machine business.
Exactly.
But the whole thing is,
making
you may be
monies.
You might be financially successful, but the whole thing is a lot of these women that are in that area of education and they've gotten that level of education, they don't look at your job as so sexy. So they kind of don't show as much interest.
Yeah, that's what
but you know what's so funny though, with all of these women and their college degrees, like one of the things that they've called during this whole pandemic, they call it the women's session, because women by and large had these office service jobs, and they were the first one really feeling the impact of being displaced when the pandemic first happened. So I think there needs to be, and granted, I don't know if women have this perspective, but I think they need to really understand that just because a brother has a vending machine business or a landscaping business doesn't necessarily mean he can't do well. If anything, those people were considered essential workers.
And a lot of that he's not educated. That's the part. Doesn't mean that
exactly. Like a lot of, I think,
agree.
Exactly.
That's the part that we miss.
I think
because for me to get a successful vending business, I had to have drive, I had to have know-how and everything to get popping. And I think because we look at this part of, well, you don't have a degree, so you're beneath me, and you don't even see the level of education that I have because you think that I don't have it. So you think that I can't be in the same room or at the table with you. So it ain't even about the finances. It's about you belittling me because you think because you went to school for an extra 4 years and I started getting my grind on that you are somehow better than, you know what I mean? And now, like you said, you're looking for these other men that are better than you. But if you have the school where it's like 2 to 1, 3 to 1, they said soon most schools will be like 6 to 1. I said, damn, that's a great eye for a gentleman, though. Anyway, I go to school 6 to 1. I want to be right there.
Well, brother, you could step on any campus these days, and those odds will be in your favor. But the one
is that. So when I was looking, I want to see this. When I was looking at my son's school the other day, out of 25 teachers that he has in his elementary school, there are only 3 males in this whole school. I was talking to my niece yesterday. She has 1 male in her whole school. They have 65 teachers. So it's not just about, we also got to get this part about who we're putting in front of our students and who's going to college, because now you're starting to get a certain workforce that doesn't look like what society looks like. You know what I mean? So that's the part that we got to be mindful of.
Yeah, like the one perspective that was missing in this article when they were listing all of the issues was the hostility towards men on college campuses. We've read The Myth of Male Power, we read The Boy Crisis, we read The Coddling of American Mind, and most recently there was a situation at Arizona State with two white males on campus where they were basically told that because of their cis male privilege, they didn't belong in a certain space, a multicultural space. And I think what's happening with, just social media these days, I think a lot of brothers, I keep saying brothers, a lot of males are seeing how toxic college campuses are towards their existing on campus. I think, there's people, you got males definitely seeing that, I could go to trade school, like Kelvin said, right off the rip and just make money. Like you said, Smith, open up a vending machine, lawn service business and just make money off the rip. But I think there's a lot of people, a lot of males who are seeing college campuses as this sort of grounds of like, why would I go to a campus where I'm constantly going to be told because of my male privilege, I don't deserve a voice. I don't deserve, any aspects of society, like my place of society is due to my privilege. And you're seeing this sort of hostility towards male on a lot of campuses. And some dudes are just like, I'm not down for that. I don't want to be Me Too'd. I don't want to be constantly yelled at. Like, I didn't come here for that, Mm-hmm. And I will share the clip after this so that you guys could get an understanding of what happened at Arizona State. But I think also the college campuses have kind of bred this sort of hostility towards male existence too.
And what they're saying is a lot of these people that's on these college campuses aren't graduating. The males aren't graduating.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, they're dropping out now. Yeah, they're just like
I was in school. After the males exhausted X amount of their athletic abilities, they didn't graduate. They weren't graduating. You know what I mean? So I look at a football team, and like you just said, Arizona State, who has a football, basketball, freaking soccer, and all that, which are male dominated. But these males aren't graduating with degrees. It's a question that I'm asking. These males aren't graduating with degrees; they're just going there.
Yeah, a lot of them go there and then they realize the situation is not for them.
Yeah, if you turn on any situation on a Saturday, you see all these males. You got a football team that got 54 to 67 players, and I'm just trying to figure out these people really aren't graduating.
Yeah.
All
right, last bit of news. This is from the Morning Consult. Biden is less popular with Black voters after vaccine mandate rollout. President Biden sweeping federal rules to mandate vaccine hasn't hurt him with the overall electoral, but it appears to have spurred a weakening of his standing with one of the most reliable pieces of the Democratic coalition, Black voters. Since Morning Consult political intelligence survey conducted immediately before September 19th mandate announcement, President Biden's net approval rating has plummeted 12 percentage points amongst Black voters, driven by a 17-point drop amongst unvaccinated Black voters. Biden is still popular with most Black voters, with 71%, with them approving of his performance, including 37% who do so strongly. But since September 8th, the share who disapprove of Biden's job performance has increased 7 points to 24%, and 14% said they strongly disapprove. So I bring this up as, in general, you don't have to obviously have this be a vaccine thing, but just what do you think about the Biden's performance thus far, being 9 months in, 8 months in? And then obviously, what do you think in regards of how Black voters?
I want to know where the hell they be getting these polls from.
I was thinking the same thing.
I never get a chance to vote on
I'm like, I have yet to meet a Black person that has ever been in one of these damn things.
And so the polls were conducted between September 6th and September 8th, and then another set between September 18th and 20th.
The Midwest of America? Where? Was this a Gallup poll? Was this a poll from UConn or something? Where the hell did they get this?
I don't remember getting an email, a text message, smoke signal.
But I wanted to say this. Right? You said they're saying that the numbers are decreasing. This is why you know that they're out of touch with Black folks, because his numbers went down when he said, "You ain't Black if you won't vote for me." What the hell are you talking about? When Biden told people that you ain't Black if you don't vote for me, his numbers already went down. What are they talking about? Like, they still think they got a pulse on these Black people. And that's why I said 71%. Where are they getting these numbers from? Is this from 25 people that they
these are all right. So they polled, and this is again why I posed that question when we were reading Alchemy in regards of how they definitely, when they say men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. I'm like, numbers could easily be manipulated. Right. So they polled 1,000 people. That's not indicative of Black America, like 1,000 people.
1,000 people.
But but the people that they polled weren't people who didn't vote. These were particularly Black voters, like people who readily admitted that they voted for Biden. Mm-hmm. And those people have seemingly expressed a great deal of disappointment, particularly after the mandate.
Well, at the end of the day, he's not doing a good job with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, but we already knew that was going to be the case. I told you all, Trump shit talking all that, but as far as economy and things, he made shit happen. He was what was needed at that particular time. You know what I mean? And Biden got, like, at the end of the day, this is all I see. All I see is more and more receipts. All I see is more and more receipts. All I see is money just trying to be spent with no real direction of where the money's being spent. Yeah, you inherited the pandemic shit, but at the end of the day, this is going to be what it's going to be. You got people people trying to mandate, like in New York, they're trying to mandate the teachers. They have to be vaccinated by Monday.
You saw the recent judge putting a halt to that?
They have to put a halt to it because you're going to have freaking all these kids have to go into the gym because you ain't going to have no teachers. You can't fire teachers. You ain't going to have teachers because nobody's going to college to be a fucking teacher. See what I'm saying? So You're going to have all these subs that's off the street that haven't even, what are we really going to do? So that shit sounds good, but you can't do it. You know what I mean? You can't fire 500 teachers because you don't have 500 teachers to replace them. Plain and simple. People aren't going. Teaching is not a sexy career, so people aren't coming out of college with like, it's like the next draft, and we're about to get another 1,000 teachers that's about to hit the streets running. It don't work like that. So, and the mandates, listen, them shits are stupid. The only mandate that I think they should still be forcing is the mandate, the mask one.
Smith, Shoe, what you got? You on mute, bruh. It's Kel. Nah, man, can't hear you.
So y'all got to clean all this up.
Well, while Kel tries to figure out
what's going on.
Go ahead, Black Zeus.
I mean, the whole thing is, y'all know right from the beginning, I wasn't a big fan of Biden. I mean, the vaccine thing, I'm in support of. Honestly, the vaccine thing, I'm in support of. But I wasn't a big fan of Biden from the jump because of the fact of, he sold it as if he was looking out for Black America. And then as soon as he got in, he said, fuck you, Black America. Transgenders and Asians are moved to the front of the line.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So if y'all didn't, if that didn't put a bad taste in your mouth, why wait? Why is this vaccine putting a bad taste in your mouth?
Kel, you back, brother?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How could you not hear me before? Oh, I guess you was reading my lips.
I was reading. I always monitor, people's facial expressions. And when I saw you moving your lips, I was just like, brother, I can't hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think it's a tough job altogether. People are always going to complain with the stuff that the president does or doesn't do right. I mean, I don't necessarily know that Joe Biden, people really felt like he was the best president for America. They just didn't want Trump to be the president anymore.
Yep.
So, that's really all it came down to. He kind of used the clout of, rolling with Obama. So people kind of felt like, all right, Obama did a decent job. Joe Biden was down with Obama. Obama probably helped Joe Biden out with some stuff, if he needs it. So maybe this dude will be all right.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I don't know that he's necessarily racist or biased. I just don't think the nigga's doing a good job altogether. He just sucks I don't say he sucks, but he's.
Look, bro.
Give him one thumb down and one to the side.
I won't make the claims that he's racist, but he sure enough has done enough damage to Black America that it puzzled the shit out of me that people were looking to vote him over Trump. I share the same sentiments as Black Zeus in regard. I was never a Biden fan, not just from like his dealings with Black America, just from a economic policy standpoint. Like, a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the IRS and the Biden administration is looking into people's banking accounts, $600. That was, everyone was able to see that. Like, from an economic standpoint, I just didn't necessarily align with what Biden had to say. But, more specifically, just looking at Black America, like Biden has always been dismissive of Black America in regards of what he has contributed to the demise of Black America, in addition to like what he has said. Smith pointed out the whole Breakfast Club interview in regards of telling folks, telling one of the most popular black morning stations, like, hey, if you ain't black if you don't vote for me. But in addition to that, shortly after being inaugurated, he had an interview. I mean, he had a roundtable with some Black leaders, and he specifically told them that he's not doing anything specifically for Black America at all. And then he told them that the largest cohort, the largest population will be the Hispanics, and they need to basically seemingly get with the Hispanics if they want anything done for them. And that right there was very dismissive, right off the rip. So, like, it's unfortunate that people Black America has, is taking this sort of vaccine mandate for them to really open up their eyes regarding the Biden administration. But it is what it is, man. Hopefully, not saying that this article also touched on that it doesn't necessarily mean that, there's going to be this shift of Black Americans being Republicans, but I hope that, Black America really could come together and form form a party to really have their best interest in mind when it comes to political, economical issues. So that's that.
Form a party that has their best interests. Yeah.
But
further than I could have ever imagined, you understand? And I'm still getting up every day and going at it like we ain't got shit. Because to me, that's what represents a true hustler.
Yeah. Your mindset has always been different. I mean, from the early stage. I remember, I think it was on the Deeper Than Rap album, you said, I won't fail, but a lot of men will. I was like, ooh, that's a bar. You know you're in a surrounding that isn't promising, but you know that I'm going to make it out. And then later in your career, you said, in a room full of failures, I feel out of place.
Right.
So you had that premonition for a while. How did it develop like that?
Man, it's just what you got to do as being a boss, being a CEO, and I want to make this note, your life is the most important position you'll ever have as a CEO. You the CEO of your life. You understand? And so for me, I always understood at an early age I wasn't the smartest at the room. When the teachers asked a question, I would have loved to have been the young brother that had every answer, and I would have gave it to him, but I didn't. You understand? So I had to sit in the back, crack jokes, and do everything else. But I understood what I did have was passion. And that's what separated me from everybody else. When I played football, my passion, I wanted to practice 2 a day. When all my other homies was, man, I'm tired, I'm ready to go home and watch cartoons. Fuck cartoons, man. Let's do this shit again. And that same passion still drive me to this day. You understand? It's Sunday. Let's still turn up. After this, we doing some more shit tonight. It ain't just about the money. It's about the brand. That's where patience come into play once again. To build a brand, man, you got to put 10 years on that shit. Of course, you can make some money before then, whatever, but that's the kind of mind frame you got to have when you're thinking about astronomical numbers. I think that was
perfect day to boss up. It was a really good listen to. If you decided to listen to it, if you read it, I'm pretty sure you probably had a good time reading it. So we have quite a few questions this week. So let's start off with the question I had last week that we didn't get to, and I Smith wanted to actually visit this question this week. So in chapter 4, empires are built brick by brick. Ross discussed his rap flow switch up. Why is it that rap hip hop artists are always having to simplify or dumb down their style for success?
You gotta make it digestible for the masses, man. One of the people who the Billy, the GOAT, they call him, Jay-Z. Jay-Z said that a long time ago, that he had to switch up his style and dumb it down because he was just going over people's heads. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to do that. Like, kind of like how we're saying, or how Black Zeus said with, I forget the two, he was talking about the doctor and O'Shea and saying that one's talking like this, but the other one will get more leeway because people would understand what he's saying better. So sometimes you just got to do that to, get the people to understand what you're saying.
The reality is that thinking and processing things in your mind, or I should say, pondering on things is difficult for people. People pull away from anything that's challenging, anything that is difficult. People veer away from it, whether it be putting deep thought and process into the decisions they make, whether it's go to work and earn $1, Or even if it's just like, hey, go to the gym and work out because it's good for you. Make better choices in your diet because it's good for you. Anything that's difficult, people veer away from, but it's difficulty that makes a person better. Whether you're talking about further educating yourself, make yourself physically stronger, budgeting your money so you can build financial stability and security and, generational wealth. Like these things are challenging and difficult, and people do not want difficulty. They want the easiest way possible in anything in life. So it shouldn't be surprising that if someone is giving you information through, let's say, music, if that information is deciphered in a way that you have to actually be somewhat educated and actually put some thought to it, people are going to veer away from it versus, big booties, big booties, big booties, drink, 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 smoke, 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 party, 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 party. Not a hard message to decipher.
Yeah.
Now this is just universal.
They don't want to listen to music with a dictionary in their hand. That's what Killer Priest once said.
I mean, the whole thing is, if you look back,
so over your head,
if you look back to like Wu-Tang Clan and look at their lyrics and how you would have to actually know some things to really fully understand Wu-Tang's lyrics. As great as Wu-Tang was, and they never, and the one thing I appreciate about Wu-Tang is that they didn't veer away from what they were in order to appease the masses. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They did not veer away from who they were to appease the masses, but they'll never have the popularity, as I'm trying to think of somebody who's kind of simple with their lyrics.
You can name any rapper today, brother. Just name them.
any one of these mumble rap artists.
Exactly, brother.
Any one of these mumble rap artists, So it is what it is, It is what it is.
Henry, what you got, brother? In regards to,
I don't know. I think that they part of the reason why they dumb it down is because that's what actually sells. But I don't know. I was watching Uninterrupted the other day, and it was basically talking about how like a lot of the younger players would like study older players and learn a lot of their moves, but then they were saying how like a lot of the older players, like a LeBron or Carmelo, is learning some of the younger player moves too, like a step back, a little side step, or whatever. So, I mean, evolving is not necessarily always, a bad thing. I mean, I guess it is you all kind of dumbing it down in the sense of, this is what sells. But regardless of how deep you are of a rapper, you're still going to have the type of track that needs to come out that may be simplified that niggas is playing in the club. Like Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. That's just a catchy ass fucking hook, which is kind of simple. But then, they do have, I mean, I guess Wu-Tang is a little different though, because they got so many damn rappers who had different styles. Like, I don't feel like Old Dirty Bastard was super deep, but then fucking RZA, that nigga, the shit that nigga used to talk about, I'd have to have a fucking dictionary. I bomb atomically, pondering philosophies and hypotheses, can't define when I'll be dropping these. Like, that shit you really got to listen to.
Yeah.
So,
but like,
I mean, that's one of the things that made him great.
Black Zeus, talk about the Ben Johnson BET thing. Like, we were reading. You and I had this discussion earlier this week, and we were referencing the disintegration, the splintering of Black America, and you wanted to bring up that point again, if you could recall, regarding what Ben Johnson and how you felt about that.
I mean, essentially, the whole thing is, he brought that. You always get this, that Black people don't have this and Black people don't have that, and no one ever represents Black people, give Black people more resources, more ability to improve or get better. Mm-hmm. But every time it's brought to them and served up on a silver platter, they turn away from it and be like, yeah, I don't know about this caviar. Where's the fried chicken? Say, what? Hold up, but you said you wanted to be on this upper level of things. And here it is, put on a silver platter and you turn away from it. You go right back to watermelon and fried chicken. And then you're mad when everybody says you eat watermelon and fried chicken.
That goes back to what you were saying last week, though, where it was like everybody talks about wanting to be a boss and wanting to be successful, but when it comes down time to actually be put in that position, you don't do what it takes. Part of it.
But I think Black Zeus is talking about the stereotyping and how that.
What I'm saying is the fact of, you know, the image or the culture, if you will, is created by the people. It's not created by some outside entity. People give you what you want. If you say, I want corn, they'll give you corn. If you say, I want wine, they'll give you wine. If you say, I want water, they'll give you water. But when they give you what you want, you can't turn around and play the victim and say, well, they didn't offer me X, Y, and Z, or they didn't. No, this is what you were offered all these things, but you turned them all down. You picked and chose what you wanted from the buffet, and you picked watermelon and fried chicken with grape soda. All right. So don't get mad and say, oh, these were your options. When no, all of this was your options. You just chose what you felt comfortable with. You didn't want to come out your comfort zone. You know what I mean? You didn't want to come out and do something different. You didn't want to do anything that might challenge you or might seem like a little bit uncomfortable for a moment that might, improve you in the long run. So at the end of the day, it's like this victim mentality of like, we aren't offered this and we aren't offered that, or we're looked at as this, that, and the other. Well, what choices did you make to lead people to believe that this is what you want?
Yeah. And I want to piggyback off of that because when Shuba and I were briefly discussing aspects of this, when I think of white rappers, some of the most lyrical, like I don't hear this sort of white rapper saying this sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Confession of white rappers saying like, I had to simplify my lyrics. Like when I see white rappers come onto mainstream or whatever, or they're coming up on the underground channels, it's just like they remain consistent. How they are when they first started lyrically is how they finish when they're all said and done. And there isn't this sort of, and they still have their audience, which obviously, they might have some black audience, but they might predominantly have white audience. And it's to Shuba's point in regards of stereotyping. It's just like we complain about the stereotypes that we have about us, but when I hear a Rick Ross, when I hear a Jay-Z, when I hear a Nas, having to confess that they had to dumb down their lyrics, it's just like that speaks volumes to who we are as a society in regards of how we take in information. One of the things that I like to do, I listen to like a lot of I listen to a lot of market news too. And one of the common things that I notice that is when I see brothers who enter that space of wanting to be content creators when it comes to politics, want to be content creators when it comes to marketing, stock markets and stuff like that, their viewership is very low. But when I see white content creators do the same thing, their viewership is in the thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands. And it wasn't until most recently I stumbled across two brothers who really made watching the stock market very popular. Is their Earn Your Leisure podcast. But like the one thing I noticed that those brothers had to do, they had to put it in a very hip hop way. And it's just like, why does everything have to be simplified in such a manner that we can't use critical thinking? And it's just, I don't know, man. It's to what
because if you're trying to make money, you can rap like KRS-One. But if you're trying to make money, then you switch up your style. Jay-Z said, I used to rhyme like common sense, but I sold 5 mil. I ain't been rhyming like common sense. You understand?
Yeah.
You know who Common Sense is, very positive rapper, but he doesn't sell. You understand? Because positivity, unfortunately, in our community doesn't sell. When they made songs like Self-Destruction, people weren't buying that. When they made songs like Kill 'em Up, Shoot 'em Up, people were buying it. You got to keep this in mind. We're still
But that's the thing.
We're still not owning the radio stations, correct? So I can put out all this content. My content will never get played on the radio because it's too positive. All right?
Not true. Not true.
What's the last positive song you heard on the radio?
But I think, but
hold
I
don't. If that was the case, hold on. If that was the case, we would never heard of Common. We would never heard of no. Pharrell's "It's Happy." We would have never heard. There's a lot. The whole thing is, at the end of the day, if you're not willing to consume it, if you're not willing to buy it and consume it, then no one's gonna sell it.
And no
at
one's
the end of the day, the customers do make that decision. The market, the buyers are the one who make the market. It's not the producer.
To the radio right now, Black Zeus, you're not hearing no positivity on that motherfucker.
Why is that? Is it that the radio doesn't
that's what the radio station is choosing to play because
is it really?
Because that's what they believe their audience wants to hear.
Is it? But here's the thing.
Do you want to hear that?
Do I want to hear it? No. But do these young kids want to hear it?
No, if you're a radio listening member and you don't want to hear that, why do the radio assume that everybody want to hear it? There are some who want to hear it. You got to listen to me. I play the radio and my kids be like, yo, Miss Smith, what is that? We don't listen to that. And it's the young stuff that they be like, yo, that's that ignorant music. The kids not even listening to that. You hear what I'm saying?
I don't know, because they're looking at the analytics, but they're looking at the analytics and they're seeing what's popular. Like it's not like.
And why is it popular though?
But Smith, Smith, it's popular. I get
because
what you're saying in regards of what
to buy. That's what's being choose to be played. That's why it's popular, man.
I get what the narrative in regards of what radio stations and these record labels are doing, but what is also I think Black Zeus is getting at is there's the level of consumer accountability in this.
Consumer accountability is this. On Hot 97, I can hear nigger, bitch, and hoe.
I get that, but at the same time, we're not.
Why am I hearing that on this station?
But Smith, but at the same time, you could also
the lack of respect that the company has for the consumer.
But let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, Black.
Let me ask you a question. If Hot 97 started playing classical music today, would their viewers, would their listening, go up, down, stay the same?
It'll stay the same for one day till people are figuring out what the hell are y'all doing. Did y'all change them?
Exactly. So at the end of the day, is it Hot 97 that determines what the person listens to, or do the listeners determine what they want to listen to?
Hot 97 still determines because they are.
Oh my God! You just literally said
no, but you just asked the question and you gotta let me answer it. Hot 97 determines what they play. The listener determines what station they listen to. It's two different things. Now, in order to get money, I'm going to play what I think people want to listen to.
Yeah.
Come on now. Think about it. That's not
Henry. Wait, hold on. Let Henry chime in real quick. Henry, what do you got? You got any additional thoughts?
I don't know, man. This is a tough one because people do choose what they want to hear, but I mean, like the average nigga, if you don't know where to go to listen to classical music and all that you're seeing as being advertised is Hot 97 to Power 105, that's the shit that you end up listening to. And by default, you listen to it. It's all good. And by default, you listen to it, and then you end up liking it because that's what you're used to hearing. Like, none of us grew up in the era of classical music.
See, and that's the thing. That's a crock of shit because the whole thing is the radio dial goes left and it goes right. All you gotta say is, oh, I don't like this. Turn the dial. Turn the dial till you find something you like that triggers you, something that you identify with, something that you sound. And there are classical stations, there are R&B stations, there are rock stations, there are all different types of stations. All you have to do is turn the dial. But if you choose to turn the dial to Hot 97 and you stay on Hot 97, that ain't nobody else's fault but your own.
That shit is also like what's being advertised and what's up in your face. This nigga Paul Pierce got fired from ESPN, and he was saying like, yo, if you work at ESPN, you have to talk about LeBron James all the time. So when I'm flipping the station, sports stations, these niggas are talking about LeBron James. Now, that's not to say that I can't find a station that might be talking about Stephen Curry all the time, but that shit is a lot harder to find. Because that's what they want, because that's what's popular right now.
Exactly. That's what's popular. Now what the station's like, no, this is what we're feeding them, but this is what they are, that's what their attention is coming towards. So that's what we're going to give them. If they say, hey, tomorrow, we don't give a fuck about LeBron's, we want to hear about Steph Curry, we want to hear about the one white guy in the NBA, that's what they will feed you. Whatever it is that you choose.
That's how like advertising works though. Like advertisers sell you a product and make you want it. But they're the ones who's selling the shit. It's not like people say, oh, damn, I want a McDonald's hamburger. And because people want a McDonald's hamburger, McDonald's decides to make them juicy ass, freaking enticing ass commercials. It works the other way around. Because they're advertising the way they do. Because they say, this is what y'all want to listen to. We're going to make y'all think that this is what y'all want to listen to. People start listening to that shit.
Let me ask you a
question. Look at the vaccine. Niggas is like, yo, this is some shit that you need. And niggas started going out and doing it.
Let me ask you a question. You said McDonald's, advertise, this, that, and the other. When's the last time you seen an advertisement for the Chinese place you get your Chinese food from? When's the last time you seen a commercial for the Ambassador's chicken spot that you go to? When's the last time you seen a commercial for the restaurant you took your wife to for the anniversary? When's the last time
But that's all like chain. That's all chain stuff. Like, when's the last time you seen an advertisement for your local radio station? Like, you're not gonna find that for small businesses.
My point is the fact of you don't need an advertisement to tell you to try other things or to experience other things, right?
No, you don't. No, you don't. But the advertisement is the shit that makes what's being advertised is the shit that, like, dang, I really want that. Like, why is it that my wife is celebrating freaking her aunt's 50th birthday party?
So you're telling me if they put shit on a stick and said this is absolutely delicious, you're gonna go out and buy it?
So they went out and celebrated her 50th birthday party. They went to fucking Olive Garden. Like, yo, why the hell would you go there for an Italian restaurant where they got a whole bunch of local Italian restaurants that's better? Because Olive Garden is the niggas you see on commercials. They're the ones that make you think everybody eats when you come to the house. Pastor bruschetta or Fretta. Like, dang, I like bruschetta. The motherfuckers passing that shit. That's where I'm going.
So because they promoted Olive Garden, right? And maybe you don't think anybody, ever tried Olive Garden outside of that commercial. That's what you're telling me. No one's ever tried and said, oh, these breadsticks is good. The salad is good. And then said to their friend, hey, I like the breadsticks and salad at Olive Garden. You don't think that ever happened?
But you said if they sold shit on a stick, yes, people would buy it because you forgot when people.
No. I said, would you buy it? Would you buy it?
No, I mean now. No, but the average person would. So Olive Garden is the shit on.
Now, what I'm saying. Okay. So what I'm saying is this:
when they advertise something, they make you think that
Olive Garden is the shit on the stick of Italian food.
Exactly.
Okay,
shit on the stick of Italian restaurants.
Growing up, I thought Red Lobster was the best fucking.
Everybody thought Red
Lobster was the best seafood restaurant out there. Yo, they're trash.
Let me try this a different way. Let me try this a different way. What I should have said was this: Olive Garden, Red Lobster, McDonald's, whatever the case is, they advertise, and then after that, you go over there and you eat the food, and it tastes like shit. Are you going to continue to consume the food?
What are you comparing it to? Like if I only go to...
it tastes like crap, you do not enjoy it. You do not like it. I'm not comparing it to nothing. You do not like it. Mm-hmm. Are you going to continue to consume it? Are you going to continue to buy it because this is what's advertised? Or will you take your business elsewhere?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people are going to go back again because maybe it was just that meal and they need to try something else. Hey, you asking a question. I'm giving you a serious
I'm asking you.
Never been to a restaurant, had a bad experience, and said maybe it was just
but you talking. You can't just ask. You can't just ask.
All right, but hold on. All right, so let's say this. Stick to Schubert's question. Let's say you had a continuous bad experience at said Olive Garden or Red Lobster.
No, but what niggas are having? Right, what people are having bad continuous experiences with the music that they listen to?
That's the point.
That is the point. If you're
If
saying
you
that
don't
there's a
like
large
it, you're not going to
cohort of
continue
people,
consuming it.
yeah. If you're saying there's a large cohort of black people saying that the music that they're putting out is trash, how is it that you're still continuously having this said music being popularized? The powers
Because
within
majority of the people don't feel like it's trash.
That's the point. That's what
That's
we're
the point.
saying. That's what we're saying the entire time. So,
But you got the trash artists. Those are the ones who's being publicized. So the people,
they're being
People are
publicized,
buying it.
but people are consuming it, and I think that's the issue of the crux.
because Cardi B is a trash rapper who don't even write her own lyrics.
We
The niggas
get
is
that.
advertising her like she's the hottest thing, so now the chicks want to be like her.
But when we get that, but at the same time, what I think the initial point that Schubert was trying to get at is you can't fault people outside cultures when they see that this person is being propped. Not only this person is being propped, they have this large constituents of following, and then you can't fault people for stereotyping you. It's just like, yo, this is what you're expressing that you have interest in. This is the way you want to see yourself being seen as. And I think that's the problem that I have with when I heard Rick Ross saying he had to do this. Is just like, yo, this is way too many rappers in my lifetime that had to say that they had to dumb down their lyrics. What are you saying about black people in general?
Yeah, but
that we can't, because like I said, I've never heard white rappers in my life. Yo, there's a new white rapper called Tom McDonald. He has a huge following. He says he reminds me of a younger Eminem. Not once has this white dude has come out and say, yo, I needed to simplify my lyrics so that my audience could understand.
But there's no young people.
Yes, he knew that his audience was going to understand.
What's that?
He knew his audience was going to understand.
Exactly.
New different time. Listen, you got to remember, the people that's telling you that they had to dumb down their lyrics, they put out an album that didn't do well. So therefore, they went back to the lab and they revamped it and came back.
And no one's disagreeing. But no one's disagreeing with that. But what does? So you're saying? But what it does is it speaks volume to the consumer.
That's what I've been saying. Yeah, because the consumer doesn't want to buy this stuff where I need a dictionary. So therefore, if I want to make money, Jay-Z said it best. When I was rocking like this, nobody was checking for me. When I started rocking like this, I sold
we agree with
that point. But
the whole thing is, Smith, the point is that black people say that they can't move forward, they can't do this and that because of what's offered to them. But the whole thing is when something better is offered them, they turn it away.
Well, who's saying that? What young people are saying that this shit is better though? Like maybe it's our generation is saying that the rappers of today are trash, but the younger people don't feel that way.
The whole listen.
I think go ahead, Black. Black got the last point. We could transition next question.
The whole thing is, so for instance, all these women that are going to college, right? This whole up influx or whatever case of women that are going to college. If you had a rapper talking about going to college, being a better woman, and more woman power, all of that in the rap game, how well would she sell against Cardi B talking about, wet ass pussies?
She wouldn't sell shit because ain't nobody in the club fucking bumping
go
to college.
So the whole thing is, the content.
They ain't gonna put that on the radio.
The whole thing is the content of going to college may be better. For long term,
but music is for the main part of music is for entertainment. If a nigga gets to watch him, has to choose between going to the movies and watching it, the average person going to the movies with their family and watching an educational documentary, or going to the movies and watching an entertaining movie that's fucking catchy, that's what they're going with. Who's bumping some college track in the club?
Hold up. The whole thing is, listen, back in the day when, Run DMC,
back in the day, bro.
Jesus Christ.
But that's what he's getting at, Kel.
That's my point.
That's his whole point.
You had brothers that was trying to, uplift black people and move them in an upward direction. Now we're just, we are going for the low hanging fruit, and then we complain about the results that we get. Like you can't deny that. You can't deny that this music has a major influence on our culture, on our kids, and on our people.
Positive or negative, it sure does.
Yeah. So the whole thing is the fact of, if you're consuming it, then you can't be mad and say, well, they're putting it in front of us and this, that, and the other. It's like, no, y'all always had better options. Y'all picked the option that you went with. Like Smith said, I used to rock like Common Sense. The whole thing is, you did not go with that. You did not buy that. You did not purchase that.
But hip hop is also as popular as it is now because it appeals to people of all colors, not just black people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's the thing. It appeals to people of all colors. How many people are actually living the lifestyle of what they listen? Exactly. That's the thing. How many people are living that lifestyle of being a Cardi B or whatever? Like, you get these, and the worst part is you get these politicians that want to hold up Cardi B as some sort of women's lib. But for a fact, none of them bitches would want their daughter to be like Cardi B.
But a lot of people are still trying to be that, and they are like Cardi B. They are being still the strippers that's trying to get their teeth fixed.
And that's indicative of who we are as a society. But that's what I'm saying. It's
but not just black and
Spanish
people look up to Cardi B. The little white girls do too.
Man, but not in the same numbers. But like, the premise of this is just like, look, again, when I look at certain content and I look at the demographics it's pulling, when it comes to the sort of media consumption that black people tend to consume, I get I'm very disappointed, and it's very disconcerting to me that a lot of times that when it's information that needs to be passed down to us, it has to be dumbed down, as though there aren't intelligent people like myself, like a Smith, like a Henry, like a Black Zeus, who's amongst us, who could say, yo, nah, stick to how you speak. I will be able to adapt. Let me adapt to your style.
Or help me be better.
Or help me be better. Like when I hear Cornel West speak, I don't say, yo, Cornel, slow up, bro. Your tempo, your cadence, the synonym words that you're using, don't do that, yo. I can't understand. No, I'd be like, yo, you know what? He just used the word. Let me pull out my dictionary.
And from that aspect, I agree. But when it comes to entertainment, I don't agree from that.
No, bro. But what I'm saying is, when I see white rappers, like the really good ones, I never hear them say, and the ones and they're really popular too. I never heard not one of them say, I had to dumb down my lyrics.
I don't really know if there's that many white rappers that's famous in comparison to the black ones.
You haven't heard that from any of the new people that's coming out rapping either, have you?
But the thing is,
because they already dumb it down.
Because the new hip hop, what's that?
I said because
they already dumbed it down.
Exactly. That's the problem.
And that's their choice. They're choosing to do that, man.
But they're choosing
because there are other artists that aren't dumbing it down. But again, you will not hear that on the radio. So if I don't have Sirius Satellite, and I don't know how to get in touch, like Henry said, with an artist that is positive, and I turn on the radio on every dial that you go down, Black Zeus, I'm hitting every station, and I still don't hear any positive rap. I'm looking for positive rap, and I can't find it because you all are telling me that that's not what the masses.
But hold up. But
you all are telling me that the masses only want booty shaking music, and that's why I can't hear any one positive rap song throughout a 24-hour day and down the dial.
But Smith, in the past, when we talked about other issues and we talked about how all the information as a palm of your hand, you're telling me that you can't do the same thing for hip hop?
I don't know the artists. Who am I looking for? But you can look up.
But you can find artists.
No, you know what though?
Hip-hop artists.
When it comes down to entertainment though, like Cash, I can agree. If I'm listening to Cornel West and he's giving a speech, I don't want him to dumb it down. But if I'm listening or watching some shit for entertainment purposes, my shit don't need to be super deep. Y'all can dumb it down and I can enjoy myself. Like,
so I think you can't enjoy listening to like a Common common sense or Talib Kweli.
No, I'm not saying I
Talib
can.
Kweli.
I'm just saying I would
You
enjoy it.
You
I would
can't enjoy listening to conscious rap.
No, I can enjoy it. I would just enjoy the dumbed down one more, where I'm sitting in a social setting and we're fucking gathered together, and the shit's either playing in the background or we singing it, or we somewhere else or we singing it, or we dancing to that shit. Like, I'm not dancing. Oh, the dictionary's great. I'm coming to the library, reading with the librarian. So, like, from an entertainment standpoint, I think it's okay to dumb the shit down, because even whatever rapper it is, whether you're conscious or not, you still have that one or two dumbed down song that's going to be your single on the radio that gets people listening to you, playing in the club, and then you can still do your conscious shit on the rest of your album. Now, again, whether you're going to sell a whole bunch of records is to be seen, but you got to have something that is just going to be catchy and that's going to play to it and niggas can enjoy in a social setting.
That's fine. So, at the end of the day, don't complain about the society that's being influenced by the same entertainment.
Yeah.
That's it. Just don't complain about it. Accept it. You say, "Oh, this is the music we pick.
This is how it influences."
This is the music we pick. It influences our society this way. We're okay with it.
But that's the I'm gonna leave it there because I know we keep talking about this.
Next question. In chapter 13,
extravaganza with all that.
In chapter 13, speaking to existence. Why does a principle like this work for someone like Muhammad Ali, but did not work for someone like Sha'Carri Richardson? Here you go with Sha'Carri Richardson. Does chapter 14, let your actions speak for you, contradict chapter 13?
Sorry, that was the typo.
Yeah, just
why does a principle like this work for someone like Muhammad Ali, but not work for someone like Sha'Carri Richardson?
No, that's easy. Go ahead,
chapter 14, a contradiction to chapter 13. But go ahead, Kel.
Well, I think with Muhammad Ali, it worked because he did both. Like, the nigga spoke it into existence and then backed it up. You get a lot of people now who's talking like, I'm about to be the best in X, Y, and Z, but you either haven't achieved it yet or your actions are proving something different. Like, if Sha'Carri Richardson was winning, this wouldn't even be an option. I think the speaking into existence part is partially just giving yourself, the confidence. I don't want to say the pep talk, but sort of like the confidence or the belief that, this shit is going to happen. But that's like the preamble to actually getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you say it out loud or you say it to yourself. So
yeah,
I think they go ahead.
And then you got to actually put action to it. I don't think it's necessarily contradicting itself at all. You do speak it into existence, but then you have to act upon it. And I don't think that Miss Richardson did that at all. You know what I mean? She's just out there talking. And be out there talking and still getting high and shit.
So here's what I'm seeing.
He's getting high.
She out there getting high and shit.
The whole thing is that, the speaking to existence I think should come into, that should have been chapter 14. And chapter 13 should have been, let your actions speak for you. Because the whole thing is, words without action, or like the Bible says, faith without work is dead, right? So the whole thing is like, if you ain't doing shit, what are you praying for? What are you, speaking out for? This, that, and you ain't doing shit. Do something first and then affirm it with your words after. But the whole thing is that, a lot of the whole speak things into existence or put it out into the universe is taken by a lot of the majority of the audience as if, like, by saying it, it will be. By praying it, it will be. Instead of saying by doing it and then affirming it, it will be. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's why I felt like, these chapters should have been inverted, where you came up with chapter 14 first and say, let your actions, speak for you, and then follow it up with, speak it into existence. Because just talking about it, talk is cheap.
Yeah.
I think it's just how you look at it, though. I think that's just how you're looking at it, and I agree with what you're saying. But let's look at it from this standpoint. I want to tell my wife that I'm ready to have a child, and we want to get pregnant. I want to speak that into existence. I'm not just fucking and we had a baby. You understand? So it's another part to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. If we want to have a child, we want to speak that into existence.
That is not exactly the same.
In
this context. We're talking about working towards.
Well, I would say this, right?
I'm talking about working towards a goal. I'm not talking about something that,
Well, okay. I want to go. Listen, I want to get my PhD.
There you go.
I'm saying that still. All right. I'm speaking it, and now I got to go and do that part.
Yeah.
You're saying I'm doing it already.
Let me ask you a question.
No, but hear what I'm saying. You're saying I should already be doing in school for my PhD and then saying I'm going to get my PhD. You understand what I'm saying? Like the speaking it is also kind of making that goal. My goal.
Yeah, it's a goal. Yeah.
Understand?
Like having like a mission board of some sort.
Yeah, like a vision board.
Vision board, not mission board, vision board. Yeah.
I'm saying like this is my goal. I'm speaking that, and now I'm going to do the actions to get there.
I'm not talking about setting goals.
I understand. Speaking into it.
But what I'm saying is the words. Listen to the words. Speak it into existence. Yes. Those words infer that by saying it, it will happen.
I get you.
No, I hear what you're saying, but that you know that anybody knows that you're not.
So it's a different thing if you're saying I'm going to do these things, and then after that affirm it with my words. Hey, what are you doing in school? Well, I'm working towards my PhD.
And say, I want to be a millionaire and speak that into existence with no action. So that's that's why I lose that part, because you know that you can't. People that with general knowledge knows that I can't just sit here and say I want it to rain, and it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's unrealistic.
It's not good.
I think they say I want to hit the lottery and then don't go buy the ticket.
Yeah, you can't just say I want to be a millionaire.
But I think what she was getting at, you get a lot of people, and I see this a lot. They like to manifest these sort of goals or these ambitions, and they don't put any of the real effort.
That's what
they put the carriage before the horse.
So how the fuck did they expect it to happen?
Bro, you got people like that.
He's saying they just sitting there speaking, and I'm saying like these are the crazy people that's just sitting there.
It's similar to like most like I could,
and it's going to happen.
I throw my mom underneath the bus. She's very religious. She'll always say God will take care of it. Mm-hmm. Without really doing much of anything, she would just say God would take care of it. I'm like, but what do you do when I have conversation? I'm like, but what are you doing by X, Y, and Z? Oh, God would take care of it. Same thing. It's just like people say things hoping for some sort of miraculous intervention to come in.
There's always some type of action that's behind that shit.
Bro, there's a lot of people who don't realize they either half-step the action or not even take the action at all. They just simply think just by saying it, there's some, it's going to happen. There's people like that, bro.
Yeah, that don't even sound realistic.
It doesn't.
There's a lot of people like that. That's why I use my mom. You got a lot of people who say, "Well, God will take care of it." Have you ever met someone?
My mom does that too, but she don't just sit back.
Bro, all right, that's your mom.
Not do nothing.
Just leave it to God.
Yeah, there are some people who just leave it to God. There's a lot of people who just say, "Yo, God will take care of it," and not do anything else.
And not do anything else. Not even try to pay the bill. God,
I'm gonna try that. Next time my wife asks me to do the dishes, I'm gonna try that one. See if the dishes get
that's
done.
right. There are people who there are people.
No, there are people like I've been in the churches. I've been in the churches all my life. I've encountered people like that. They will simply say God would take care of it, and you be like, "Yo, this is 90 days past due." What the fuck? Like, what do you mean God's gonna take care of it? Your life's about to go off.
Coming on the 91st day. God did say, "Let there be light."
I can see them definitely switching that order up, though, Black Zeus. I can see that.
All right, next question.
Not confusing the people.
Zeus, can you get the crumb or piece of mayonnaise off the side of your face, bro? God damn, bro.
All right, this is a slick question.
Jesus, stop looking at my lips. You always looking at my lips for some reason.
Well, I'll be waiting.
Can we get to?
I'll be waiting
Henry,
for you to talk.
You can't shortchange me on your time, brother. We can't be distracted about cream cheese around his mouth. Come on, man.
Okay, I'll leave it there next time. And watch it while it dangles as he speaks.
I'm just saying.
Create
excites
teeth on the
him.
corner of his mouth, bro. Like what?
It excites him.
All right, this is a
Okay,
Smith
good.
question. If you were to sum up what you read of this book in one tweet, what would you say in 140 characters?
Do it got to be 140 characters? It can't just be a tweet.
It could be a tweet.
But a tweet is 140 characters.
140.
But does
That's
it
the
have
limit.
to be 140 characters long?
No, Kel, that's not the minimum. That's the limit.
Oh,
That's the maximum.
God,
This is why you gotta
dumb things
you
down.
didn't show your age, bruh. Not
My
no.
man didn't say, and no. See, here we
This
go
is why
about.
you gotta
Here we
dumb
go
things
about
down.
talking about dumbing shit down. In no more than 140 characters. Then I
Once
would have been
again,
like, okay,
you
right,
gotta
fine.
dumb it down.
You
dumb
gotta,
it down.
yeah.
Because obviously, if Kel understood anything about texting, tweeting, that there's a limitation on how many characters you can put
Yeah.
in. But see, that's a lack of knowledge or trying to find out.
So if
you know.
I say,
And
so if I say to you in
So
if I say to you in 3 words,
a tweet we do.
so if I say in 3 words, tell me something about the book, you'd be like, oh well,
It's great.
I can't use more than 3. No,
No.
it means
No.
in 3 words, tell me.
In 3 words. So in 3 words means
So
the fact
in
that no more than
140
3.
What the hell? Okay. I'm
In-
not even arguing
in-
No,
that
the
one
question
out.
was, what would you say in
Within.
140 characters?
Yeah,
in
so
one
in
tweet.
in 3 words, that shit. I mean, 140 characters means I got to use 140 characters.
No,
That
it
shit
does
don't
not.
mean in no more than.
Bruh,
This is right
but
back
you're
to
missing
the
the whole
rotisserie,
context
I
of
think.
what a tweet is and how you format a tweet.
That's exactly. That's the part you're missing.
Like, that's what you're missing. A tweet is 140 characters. No matter how you structure it, it's 140 characters.
Oh, it has to be 140 characters.
Yes.
So it's no less than and it's no more than. It's exactly 140.
It's no more than 140
That's
That's
characters.
what the
bro.
fuck I just said.
But Cal, but like you're complicating this way more than it
Yo,
has to
all
be,
I'm
bro.
asking is for clarity, yo.
Yo,
They can
all
say
right.
it no more than.
All right, Cal.
You
In
don't
3
be
sentences,
you don't
how would
tweet.
you?
That's why. You don't tweet.
No,
I
I
don't
definitely
tweet
don't
either,
tweet.
and I
I
understand
don't tweet
that.
either. But I know
Yeah,
it's
but-
140 characters.
You don't even have to tweet. If you used to texting before, they extended it. Texting used to be 160
Cal,
characters.
let's simplify it for Mr. Henry. Cal,
All right.
in 3 sentences, what would you say about this book? 3 sentences.
Okay, so you know what? It was great. That's 1 sentence since I
Yes.
can't use more than 3 sentences. But to me, I should have used 3 sentences.
He just
Go ahead.
said in 3 sentences.
No, it's the same thing as 140 words. That means no more than. So I give it to you in 1 sentence, since in 3 sentences means in no more than 3.
Okay.
So it was great.
It was great. All right.
That's what it means. I would sum up the book like, go get it, go read it, listen to it. Yeah, go read it, go listen to it, and boss up, baby. That's how I would be summing it up.
For me, I would say very entertaining, very informative, must read.
Schubert, you the only nigga who ain't going yet. It's your turn, bro.
Processing.
Need an hourglass over his head to show the.
He had no more cream cheese on his face.
So I will say the quality of content in this book pleasantly surprised me, and definitely has encouraged me to go and read his previous book to see if it's as good as this book. It's definitely something I think that a lot of young people, this book is definitely a book I would suggest to a lot of young people to read.
Yeah.
Oh, Hurricane.
Yeah, he referenced
that's why.
his prior book before
Yeah,
he mentioned it.
I'm glad you said that, Black Zeus, because I wasn't sure how you was going to take it.
Yeah. All right. So being that we're pressed for time, because I had one question that I wanted everyone's perspective on, but my man Henry's gonna drop off in a few. So I guess
11 o'clock. He said 11 o'clock.
No,
But I
I
want-
said 10:45.
I want his rating though. I want his rating. All right, Henry, give me your rating, and then we'll jump into the next question. What would you rate this?
Out of what? Is it out of 5?
Out of 5, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 5. I like this one.
All right, that's what's up. All right. Being that you already summarized this in one tweet, on one sentence.
One
Want to add?
sentence.
Did you want to add anything else to that one sentence?
I like that it was entertaining, number one. It was relatable. And it had stuff that was relative
Yeah.
to I guess just relative to me personally. A lot of times when you think about like self, and you know, one thing I will say above all else is that it didn't really seem repetitive. Like some of the books where you think about like self-help or motivation, at some point, you know, the message kind of comes repetitive. But I felt they did, all the writers did a decent job of not doing it.
Nah, good summary, bro. Good.
I concur.
All right. We're going to jump into the next question. I don't know if Henry want to chime in on this, being that there's still 2 minutes left. And then obviously the rest of the three of us could give our rating later. But I had one question. So one additional question. So hip hop and rap is supposed to represent raw and emotional messaging, no matter how offensive, how offensive the lyrics are. However, in chapter 10, Manage Your Emotion, Ross expressed remorse for his "You Don't Even Know It" verse that insinuated date rape. What do you make of the situation and his perspective afterwards?
Got to think before you speak. I think he even touched on something along too, like he did like a interview with Hot 97 where he kind of spoke out of turn or out of pocket. He might have cracked a joke and didn't really realize that it was gonna have the repercussions that it had. So,
or why he don't got female artists on his team?
Yes, because I fuck them all. That's what he's saying. Yeah, like so, just like more so thinking about what you saying first. That's something again that resonated personally. It's just like, man, if I say something without thinking, it ends up normally being the wrong thing. So, just thinking that shit through and just like maybe I'd probably. If I do say this, X, Y, and Z might happen. Fellas, real quick, I'm gonna send the next book in the chat.
All right, no doubt.
All right.
For me, I like on the front, man. I struggle when that whole "You Don't Even Know What" lyrics dust up happened. I struggle with it because I'm like, hold up. So here we are talking about a dude insinuating date rape, but yet the vast majority of mainstream hip hop could talk about killing one another and selling drugs to one another. And I was just like, so this is the boundary now. It's just like I thought hip hop and rap was this sort of free form of expression, but yet, I looked at Rick Ross' roster of artists that's currently around, underneath him, and then I decided to like listen to some of their lyrics, and I'm just like, so hold up. Nothing has really changed. I thought, there's remorse in regards of how you felt about this, but nothing has really but where's that change in other avenues of your music or the artists in your music? And that was like, for me, I felt like there was a contradiction there.
Okay, yeah, I think, at the end of the day, I don't know if you all aware, that's how he lost that Reebok deal.
Yeah, he mentioned it, in the book.
That Reebok endorsement. But this was, so it wasn't that, let me go back to that question one quick second. It wasn't that, what was that part? I think his perspective changed afterwards only because he didn't realize that he had become so big as an artist. Had he not been a big artist, that shit would have made no difference. The only reason it became a problem is because how big he was. So once you get to a certain level, and that's what he was talking about, once you get to a certain level, you can't say certain shit. Just can't, because you are so big now, you're more global now, and people are going to look at it a certain way. So before those lyrics, we might not have had a problem with it because we were just his audience. But as soon as his audience went abroad, people had issues with it. And you got to remember, this was around the whole time with the Bill Cosby thing. Bill Cosby was going on at this time. So he was talking about that, and Bill Cosby was going through his thing for, I think it was like 3 years before he really got jammed up with it. So I think that was, I think that was his perspective more so. Like, I just got to be mindful of what I'm saying because my brand has gotten so big, and I did take an L by losing that Reebok deal. I did bounce back, but that was an L, And I think he learned from his mistakes, and that's why he did that situation of how to take an L in stride. You know what I mean? How to take his losses in stride. Now, I think he learned from it. I don't think he would make music like that because he knows that, you know, he got the wing stops going on and the this and that and everything. And, you know, we got that toxic environment where we want to do the cancel culture immediately. So if he knows he does certain things, they're going to try to cancel him. So I think he learned from it. You know what I mean?
Black Zeus.
This is going to be beating a dead horse, but it goes back to the first question about dumbing things down. It goes back to the whole point of the audience decides what the product is. If the audience does not agree or does not like the product, you must change the product. You must, you know, appease the audience. It's not just, oh, you give them what you want and then they'll just have to take it as is. Now, the whole thing is, if people were as militant about the whole content as they were about this one small piece of it, don't you think all of it would change? Of course it would, because that's what the audience wants. But the audience does not find it, you know, they're like, oh, no, we want to hear kill a nigga, shoot a nigga, sell a nigga drugs. We want to hear that. The audience buys that shit up. Oh, wait, date rape. No. We're not cool with that. We don't want that. We don't want that. No,
Gay
that's
talk.
not,
We
that's
don't
not cool.
want you to talk about gays either.
You know what I mean? Like, no, we don't want that. That's not acceptable. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it goes right back to the point that, you know, the producers make what the audience wants. And if the audience doesn't want it, then they have to stop consuming it. They have to stop buying it and take responsibility instead of just blaming the producers and the marketers and this. They make us want it. They make us want it. No, that's a crock of shit. I don't care if you're a heterosexual male. I don't care how much somebody puts gay content in front of you. You're not going to be like, well, I've been seeing so much gay content. Now I want to go take a dick in the ass. If you are someone who's allergic to peanut butter, no matter how many Skippy commercials come on, you're not going to say, let me go eat some peanut butter.
Yeah,
exactly.
At the end of the day, the audience or the
Zeus.
consumer has to make choices for themselves.
Accountability.
And the whole thing is, if the consumer chooses to purchase said product or not purchase said product, that is what creates the market.
Hey, that's a sound argument, but I've watched somebody who was allergic to peanut butter eat fucking peanuts because.
And whose fault is that?
It was theirs, but they was like, I saw everybody else. You see what I'm saying? So I hear that argument.
Once again,
you're removing accountability, bro.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Accountability. I'm saying they decided to do it. I'm not removing accountability at all.
Exactly. Well, then
people choose to do what they choose to do. People listen to whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not taking the accountability away. You know what I mean?
But Black Zeus
also understanding that there's a great accountability for the people who are putting out content. I understand that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand both sides of it.
Yeah, but to Black Zeus' point, man, I found it remarkable because, you know, he dropped that one and the You Don't Even Know It track. I probably have to go back to that year and see where it was on the Billboard chart, but I don't think it cracked the top 20 or anything like that. I don't think it was that big of a song at that point. And the fact that, like you heard one line or two lines in that song and change was made. So it's just like, to Shuba's point, I don't want to hear about hip hop. We don't have a voice in changing in the direction of hip hop because we clearly did it in this one instance. You know, in this one instance.
What was actually changed though? He just apologized. The song is still out there.
Ever since he made that verse, no other rappers who try to be popular will say something similar to that.
Oh, to say something similar to Drugging Chicks?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that you're mistaken. And I think that people have said it, because I've heard a dude say something similar on the mixtape circuit. I just think, again, they're not.
I said on that popularity level.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's not, to be that popular,
Yeah, on that popularity level. So what I'm saying is, but yet drugging, killing, it still remain a popular talking point within rap lyrics that get mainstream play. And the fact that we haven't necessarily demanded the change that we claim that we want to see in hip hop is just like, yo, what are we doing here? It's just like, we do have the ability. It's not all just the record labels and the radio stations that have full ownership in this. It's just like we are capable of demanding those changes if need be, but apparently we don't, because we find entertainment in drugging each other, killing each other, and what have you, and looking at each other as, I don't know, as nothing, as not a human being, but
yeah, just the FYI, it was 2013, and just on one YouTube clip, that shit had 39 million views.
Yeah. But is that the one with the Rick Ross remix?
That's the one with Rick Ross.
That's the one with Rick Ross?
Yeah.
Let me see. But
that's the one with Future, Wiz Khalifa, Rocky, Ross, 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
But that again, that's what I'm saying. It was. I don't even think, to be honest with you, I don't even think that Black females were necessarily offended. Now let me finish saying that. I don't think
No, go ahead. I'm not going to interrupt. Go ahead.
I think those who were offended wouldn't have been listened to anyway. So I think, again, that because he was such a global artist, somebody else was offended. Because they don't listen to Black females. Black females.
I don't know, bro. They do. When Nelly came out with the tip drill, and he did all that shit, that was a group of Black women in Spelman who came at Nelly.
They came at him and happened from it. Tip drill's still out there. They ain't get that shit.
Nah, bro, that video has not, ever since that whole situation, that video did not get a single airplay ever since then.
Yeah.
The video is up here on the thing, is what I'm saying.
It's up here on YouTube now, but at the time when
you have to go look for it.
You have to go look for it. I'm talking about at the time when it was on BET. At the time when BET had Rap City and Hip Hop After Dark or whatever it was. Yo, once those women on Spelman campus made a situation out of Nelly and Tip Drill, that video did not get any more airplay. Why they picked out Nelly in that music video, I have no clue, because you had a bunch of artists doing the same thing. But they singled out Nelly.
Bigger artists. They're always going to go for the bigger person.
Just set the example.
You're always going to go for them. There's so much.
But there were so many other bigger artists who had very lewd women.
Worse than that, I know, but they weren't bigger artists though. They weren't bigger than Nelly. I remember. Give Me Air Force Ones was Nelly was a big artist.
Nelly was a big artist. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, he's not big now. He was a big artist at the time.
This is absolutely true. And the whole thing is,
at this time, he was a big ass artist. You know what I mean?
But that's the point, is the fact of
they go after the big artists. You know what I mean?
They go after the big artists because the big artists have the platform and the influence. So the whole thing is, they don't want that influence to be greater, so they attack it. If you have no influence, it's like if I say something now that is offensive, no one cares. But let's say I all of a sudden, this book club blows up. It gets 50 followers, 100 followers, a million followers. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, he said something back in 2019 that was offensive, like how they came at Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
That's exactly what would happen.
And that's the thing about it, is the fact of, like, at the time, nobody had a problem with the content whatsoever until one or two people get offended later on. And then everybody else just kind of like, that's not right, this, that, and the other. And that's what I'm saying, is the fact that if Black people don't like the results of what's happening to their society based off of the things that is being projected to themselves and their kids and so forth and so on, then you need to make a bigger stink about it. I mean, the same way you make all this stink about Black Lives Matter, the whole thing is, you got to make a stink about the music that reflects it. You got to make us think about the culture that reflects it. You got to make us think about the neighborhood that reflects it. You got to make us think about these things. But the whole thing is you choose to make us think only when you're offended by the white man.
You just made me go back to what I started to tell you all about my week when a young lady decided to say that I stole her idea, right? Mm-hmm. This was done in June. It's now getting ready to be the end of September. I wrote the people inquired about who won the contest. So she had more than enough time to say that I stole her idea, whatever the case. But it wasn't until the money was actually given out. Now it was a problem. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? The money makes people change things. So yeah, right now, if you got a problem, why wouldn't you drop something in a comment for us? But like you said, Black Zeus, we blow up, and then now it's like, oh, I remember I was offended when they made this first book that they was reading. And you know what I mean? That's bullshit. Because you're trying to get a money grab. You're not even trying to get us to apologize. You're just trying to figure out how you can sue us for being offended by something we fucking said.
And not for nothing. It's like, this is why, it's going to sound offensive. This is why when you hear cases like the Bill Cosby case, where it's like, oh, all of a sudden 3,000 women are all claiming that Bill Cosby drugged and raped them back in 1972. You're like, hold up, wait a minute. Why did you say something back then?
Why did you say something back then?
Shit, you heard about the most recent accusation? There's some chick coming out against Wilt Chamberlain. That motherfucker's dead, and this chick got the nerve to come out against Wilt Chamberlain. But man,
it's like,
that's crazy.
But it's like, it reminds me of, like, I'd never forget, man. I remember when the NAACP, they wanted to, like, really go out at hip hop. Maybe this was like the late 90s, early 2000s. And I remember they were really trying to go hard at hip hop.
It wasn't for me, NAACP. That was C. Dolores Tucker ass.
It was? Okay. I was young when it was
Dolores Tucker.
I was young when it was transpiring, though.
He threw all the CDs on the street and was
and rolled it over with a steamroller.
I'm glad, thank you, brother. What do you remember the time frame of that? That was the early 2000s. I don't remember the time frame,
but I do remember the steamroller incident.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact date.
And you know what, yo? What I saw was, I'm gonna put away what I felt because I was biased. I was pro hip hop. And I was young in my thoughts, ignorant in my thoughts to understand where she was coming from. But when I look at it, it was just like there was more pushback against what she was trying to do and what some members of the NAACP was trying to do to get the change. So it's just like, now we look at hip hop and we just like, yo, how did we get here? And I look back, I was just like, yo, there were so many people who were advocating against this. But yet we shut them up. The dominant society won.
Yep.
We basically said, yo, this is what we want.
Remember they tried to do the whole burial and what was it?
The N-word.
For the N-word and everything.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is the idea was right, but did it change?
No. Because so many people gave pushback within our own community.
And here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's like, listen, you want things to change, you got to start holding the community responsible. You can't hold everybody else responsible outside the community for giving you what you are consuming. Yeah. You got to go to the community and say, hey, listen, this is our neighborhood. Why are we throwing trash in our own neighborhood on the ground? Why are we vandalizing our own neighborhood, spray painting the walls? We got to live here. Why our kids are being raised in these streets? Why are we shooting at each other? Why are we beating each other? I wish a nigga would. Why are we doing this to one another? We got to live here. We got to share this space together.
Ice grilling. Ice grilling. Bro, I can't even walk down the street without somebody ice grilling me and they're like, yo, you got a problem. I'm like, bro, I'm just looking in your direction. Like, that sort of temperament.
Somebody asked you that recently?
Nah, but I'm just, yo, dude, you know how many?
I know the ice grill.
Yeah, it's just like, but that messaging is conveyed within our music.
Yep.
All the time. And it's just like,
and
thank you. That's the proper choice of word. It's reinforced in our music all the time. And it's just like when you have people who's willing to speak out and say, like a Schubert, willing to speak out and say, yo, we need to change the content of our music, you get pushback, majority pushback. So then when the majority wins, then ultimately you left to say, yo, this is what the consumer want. Because I'll never forget listening to Hot 97 at the time. I think Power 105.1 was just coming about, and people were talking about it and calling the people at the NAACP, and the woman that you mentioned, calling her like, yo, she's out of touch, she's out of place, you don't know what she's talking about.
This was NWA and Eazy-E and Slick albums because they had the raunchy ass songs.
Yeah. But like you had that, but it's just like, and then when as I wish I was of this age at the time, because then now you could look back and then just start like, yo, you can't complain because this is what the community defended. This is what the community defended. And
truth be told, right? Hawk, you and I grew up during the same time and everything. We're a little bit older than Kel and Pratt. So like when about the time that me and Hawk might have been in middle school or like elementary, like the beginning of elementary school. Remember when people used to wear dashikis? You know what I mean? And kente cloth and shit.
Yeah, African medallions.
And shit. You can't tell me that was a negative time in hip hop. Everybody, you know what the worst thing that somebody would do?
Yeah.
Remember when things used to be a battle rap? Remember there used to be dance battles?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you had your crew wore blue jumpsuits because y'all all wore matching, Adidas blue jumpsuits, and the other team wore red, and that's all it meant. It was just that you was a opposing dance team. You weren't opposing, Blood or Crip. You know what I mean? You weren't. The worst thing that was going to happen is that you got embarrassed. You didn't get shot.
Yes.
If you got into an altercation, it was like, yo, let him shoot the fair one.
Yes.
All right. That used to be the thing. Yo, let him shoot the fair one.
Like
that used to be the thing.
You watch battle rap now. I don't even watch, like I said, you guys know me well enough at this point to know that I haven't really watched anything hip hop like that or consume more recent hip hop like that in quite a bit of time. But I'll never forget when I had hair. For those who are listening, I used to have hair. I'm bald now. When I was at the barbershop and they was playing a rap battle. I don't know. There's so many, but there's like a popular one. And I just saw the aggressive, violent nature in regards of how that rap battle turned out. And I was just like, why are you airing this shit in the barbershop with kids to be around? Why do you want to spread that negativity? Everyone's like, oh, so-and-so got that so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And I'm watching everyone in the barbershop consuming this as though there's no dysfunction in this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But fellas, let's give our review of this book. We got Kelvin 5-star rating. What do you guys have to say regarding Mr. Ross, Ricky Ross, the boss? Huh? What do we make of the perfect day to boss up? I'll begin. I give it a 5. Now, I was almost about to give this a 4 because the political stuff, I felt like I wasn't too fond of hearing the political aspects of what he had to say or what the writers have to say. But, I was able to put that aside and look at the bigger picture. And I give it a 5. I give it a 5 in regards of relatability, as Kelvin talked about earlier. I give it a 5 based on, because I'm listening to Audible. Shout out to Audible. The brother who's narrating this book did a phenomenal job narrating this book. And I should have done the research to look up who this brother is, but he makes me want to listen to other books that he quite possibly narrated. So because of that,
narrated the other Rick Ross book.
He probably did. So, the narrator did a phenomenal job. And I just think that the messaging was really on point. It was a combination of outwitting the devil, infused with money of psychology, infused with a lot of the motivational books we've probably read.
Psychology of Money.
Yeah, Psychology of Money. Thank you, brother. The Psychology of Money. So it was like an infusion of all of these books that we previously read, but it just more, more capable of swallowing it because it was just hip. It was, it was trendy. It's more modern, so to speak. So I give it a 5.
Okay. Well, guess what? I actually like the book a lot. Everything from how to turn a passion project into a business, how to build the perfect team. I like the quotes of "There's no job that's beneath a boss," and understanding that there really is no job that's beneath a boss, and that you're never too rich to hustle hard, and that fear is a good thing. So I did get a lot of takeaways. I will give this book a 5 also. First time I'm giving the book a 5, but I will give it a 5 because I really enjoyed it and I liked a lot of the trademark one-liners that were in there.
Honestly, like I said before, I was very pleasantly surprised by the content. I'm not gonna lie. I expected the same type of garbage that came out of God level knowledge darts.
That's what I did. That's what I wanted to hear.
I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was just gonna
like,
be. I honestly just thought it was gonna be a. I thought it was gonna be a quick money grab. So yeah, I wrote a book. That was just like bullshit. But this actually was loaded with a lot of good content. Very good philosophies and principles. Examples of such. Even like one of the things I thought that was awesome is how like he pointed out how he would brand himself with things that align with himself being a fat football playing, rap star, and where Evander Holyfield was a good Christian, non-smoking, drinking boxer who, branded himself with things that had nothing to do with his lifestyle or who he was.
Yeah.
So it made a lot of sense when you really put it that way. And that does make it much more understandable and relatable. That just because you want to do something, because it's popular or it's a money grab, doesn't mean that it's going to work for you because it's not aligned with who you are, who your brand is. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to come off genuine. So I thought that the way that this was put together very well. It was very well written, and it still kept a sense of genuineness of like coming from a dude from the streets, where it wasn't so polished up that you didn't recognize that it was coming from Rick Ross if you were familiar with him. But at the same token, it wasn't so hood that if you were someone who never heard of Rick Ross and didn't know who he was, that you couldn't understand the principles and the points that he was making. So, this and honestly, listening it through Audible and the narration didn't, and that's a whole side thing. But that added another level of like quality to the product.
Yeah.
That added a whole nother level of quality to the product. So, y'all know I don't really typically do this, because I'm very selective, and I definitely give this a 5 out of 5.
Oh shit. Yo, first time in IBBC history. We got a unanimous 5. When you average that out, 4 5s, man. Shout out to Rick Ross, the boss.
So you got to put something on the screen.
Yeah.
Good job.
You know what else I did while listening to
it? Doesn't matter what's going on, even in the most dire situations. It's just another opportunity to boss up. That whole John Deere thing brought me right on in, though. You know what I mean?
You know what's so funny about
John Deere thing just brought me right on in.
Man, speaking of his investments, it's not even like when he mentioned John Deere, he talked about his jet dock. He talked about Wingstop. He talks about Zoom. They're all publicly traded companies. And I shit you not, man. Like during this whole book, I'm like, I looked at Wingstop stock. First off, I'll admit, I did not know Wingstop was that huge of a franchise. I don't think I've ever seen one. So I've
never seen one.
Wait a minute. Neither one of you have never seen a Wingstop?
Never, ever.
Never, bro.
I didn't even know Wingstop exists until
Hey, wait. Because of where you are?
Yeah. Like I knew he rapped about it, but like
No, I'm saying it has to be because like down here there's like quite a few wing stops. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It must be of the location of where you are.
So like,
Wingstop is very big. You know what I mean? It's very big.
Yeah, it's big. So I'm about to share my screen real quick.
And they're different in the sense that, you know, it's not quite like, you know, how Buffalo Wild Wings is more like the restaurant where you go in and sit down. Wingstop, they did have where you could like go in and just sit a few tables, but basically you go in and get your stuff and go about your business.
Yeah, it's a wing stop.
You know what it is?
Yeah, wing stop. Yeah, not a wing stop and sitting there.
Yeah, it's not like, it's not wing chill.
Yeah, so like again, I didn't know. Like, to be honest, I'm like, man, whatever. But, you know, but he kept like when he mentioned it in his raps, I kind of dismissed it. I honestly did. I really didn't really think that it was that popular of a franchise chain. But like, you look at this map that I got shown up on the screen, there's approximately 1,500 Wingstop locations as of September 19th. And they're very popular in the California, Texas, Florida area. You know, you got some New Jersey locations. Again, I haven't seen one. You know, but you know, I might not eat a Wingstop, but shit, watch what I'm about to do. I am about to invest in a Wingstop stock though, because I'm looking at their max. When did they IPO? Not quite sure when.
What's
they're trading that right now.
But they closed at 181. They've been up 493% since they IPO'd, bro. Oh, they IPO back in 2015, and this, you know, so. You know, Ross kept mentioning it, so I was just like, "Yo, let me look into see what the hell this company is about. Let me see."
One of the things that he said was that he didn't get stock in it.
Yeah,
he was like, "Yo, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I don't know why I ain't getting no stock in here. I'm going hard for this team, and I ain't getting no." He got stock in it now.
Yeah.
So like, but he also said that listen, he's never been a paper assets type of dude. Coming from his parents, he was come from real estate. He wants to know like, hey, here's my money, hard and tangible.
Yeah. So like, you know, that I'm about to, being that it's trading too high for my blood, I'm gonna put it on my watch list, see if it drops 10% to see if there's a market correction of some sort. Not, you know, and then I'll
let me know, because I was thinking the same thing. Like 181. I don't know if I want to buy into something that's still barely new. Like that.
Like I can't because what year to date? What was his low year to date? Let me see. Yeah, the market lows was 112. So 187, that's a little bit too high for my blood, but that is something I'm going to put on my radar. And then he mentioned JetDoc. JetDoc merged with Teladoc, and Teladoc was one of those companies that did very well. So like Ross.
Yeah, you called the calling doctor thing. Yeah,
exactly. So like, you know, I pulled up this article now from Forbes. Rapper Rick Ross invests $1 million in telehealth startup JetDoc. JetDoc and Teladoc merged, and when you look at Teladoc, man, Teladoc is doing well. Like it's seeing some recent slumps, but like during the height of being shut down, it was at 292.
And at the end of the day, one of the things that Ross said is he's a winner. He ain't putting nothing in anything that's going to be losing. So if you kind of like just follow what Ross is doing, you're going to be like, all right, what we about to do, Ross? Because I know you're about to be a sponsor and a spokesperson for this for free anyway.
I mean, the thing about Ross is where, which makes him a smart businessman, is that he is investing for the long term. He's not looking for the immediate.
Exactly.
He's not looking for the immediate payout. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like when he promotes something and this, that, and the other, he's looking long term. It's the same way he talked about, like, you're going to see the Rick Ross edition, John Deere tractor and this, that, and the other in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I did. I love that when he did mention it. Like, you will see a Rick Ross edition at some point. He's trying to get that. And then obviously he talked about Zoom. When he was first presented to do a conference call, and I forget the gentleman's name, he had to do a Zoom. And at that time, he never heard of Zoom. But you look at Zoom stocks now, that's doing phenomenal. So it's just like, I think one of the things that I probably should have said in my system.
I wish I had jumped on.
Yeah, like
I was
like
doing Zoom before the
for real.
shutdown.
Yeah,
I was doing Zoom before the shutdown because before I was doing Skype with a lot of my clients that would be, abroad and everything. And Skype was giving me a whole lot of issues. And then somebody else put me up on Zoom and it worked so well. I was like, yo, so I switched over to Zoom. But the whole thing, man, I wish I did jump on that one.
yeah, man. So like, Zoom came out in April of 2019, and it's up, all-time high of 339%. So like, Ross always say that you got to invest in things and opportunities that's presented in you. And that's one of the things that, I've heard before. I'm not going to act like I haven't heard it before, but it helps to have those reinforcing messages. Constantly being beat in your head to like, yo, when you see something, look into it because that could be an investment opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you enjoyed it though, Black Zeus.
Yeah.
What if I didn't enjoy it? Why you gotta? What if I didn't enjoy it, Smith? Then what?
Well, no, because Black Zeus he's different. So I was like, remember I had 3 options. You was like, I knew you was gonna go with Roseanne. I'm like, yeah, I wanted.
Yeah, I knew you was gonna go with Roseanne.
I want to do this one right now. I did a little change up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, it's a little something different. And
it was a really good selection on your part.
Honestly, Smith, I appreciate you because I want to pick it myself, and that's one of the things that makes this whole little book club very dynamic because it kind of makes you pick books that you would never pick on your own, like Kelvin's.
Yes.
Soft ass, fictional books. I want to be a La La Land.
Hey, let's not act like we didn't enjoy American Marriage and the dysfunction in that shit. We enjoyed that book, bro.
Honestly, the book was okay. Yeah. It just made me mad. The more this chick,
Celestial.
Celestial. The more I listened to her and her bullshit, the angrier I got. I like, oh man, these dudes about to kill each other over this fucking shit. And this is one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, where's the toxic femininity, in that shit, like nobody says anything about the where men kill each other over women. You
got little Roy punching the shit out of that tree. Mad as hell. I was like, little boy about to go back.
This man is about to kill
Dre.
He's about to kill Dre. And then after that, he about to give himself brain damage, smashing his head into the fucking tree.
But we all resonated with that anger though. Like we all
absolutely.
Yeah, we all resonated with that angle. So I honestly, man, like to piggyback on what Shuba said, I don't think this would have been a book I would have chose on my own. I would have been judgmental, just like off the rip, saying, Rick Ross produced a book. Like, first off, we all know he didn't write the entire thing. Obviously, I'd have been like, man, what the hell's in this guy? I would have never gave it a shot. And I think with that, I really appreciate you, Smith, for even taking that leap for us because we need that. We need that, especially in a book club like this, man.
Yeah,
we need to show that diversity in reading.